All right, sir. We'll be live any moment now.
Just इसको बंद कर दो. Yes, yes. Now we can start.
Yeah. All right, sir. We'll be live any moment now.
Just इसको बंद कर दो. Yes, yes. Now we can start.
All right, sir. We'll be live. All right, so hi guys, a very warm welcome everyone joining us here at BYJU'S Exam Prep. बहुत बहुत स्वागत, welcome. Now guys, I know you've been waiting for this day for a long time. This day has finally arrived. Today we have someone real special with us. A great opportunity for all of us to interact with someone who is a legal stalwart himself, who's taught, groomed, mentored thousands and thousands of lawyers over decades and decades, we can say. He's basically bringing him with him truckloads of experience, all the national university students, as well as all the non-national university students, all the students of Jamia, all the students of BHU. Everyone knows him. Guys, today we are we have a real, we can say we are fortunate that we have Dr. Eqbal Hussain sir, gracing here, us at the BYJU'S Exam Prep platform. Thank you so much, sir, for sparing the time and taking out, giving us the great opportunity to interact with you.
Welcome.
So, sir, before we start, if you could just, hear from you, you are someone who's inspired hundreds of thousands of lawyers over the course of years. So today students are a little apprehensive in taking law as a career, right? So yes, this myth has definitely we can say it has breaked that earlier lawyers were considered as the last passengers of the bus. So if you could just share your story, your journey, how everything happened, how did you turn up to become the dean here at Jamia. So if you could just share your story with us.
Abhinav, thank you very much. First of all,
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
am I audible?
Yes, sir, perfectly audible.
Okay. First of all, let me thank all the people of who are in administration of BYJU'S. It is a great pleasure to interact with them this afternoon.
Right, sir.
So,
Thank you, sir.
uh,
Pleasure is all ours, sir.
let me move further. So far, my journey is concerned. I did all my education from AMU Aligarh. Then after doing immediately after my LLM, uh, my specialization of research was consumer protection.
Yes.
And indeed, I did this research in the year 1987.
Wow.
And in 1986 itself, the Consumer Protection Act was passed.
Right, sir.
So it was in a few span of time, I had to write a research paper on a very significant topic at that time.
Correct.
It was Consumer Protection Act along with Environmental Protection Act. Both the acts came together in the parliament. Then after uh, being the first research in India, I was invited by Malaysian organization which is known as CAP, Consumer Association of Penang. There I had some short investigation about the consumers problem and consumerism. Then after I came back, immediately after I was selected as a research associate for teaching in National High School, Bangalore.
Wow.
Because At that time, it was the year 1990, almost 31 years ago.
Absolutely, sir.
At that time, that was National University, Bangalore was the first law university in India.
Correct, correct.
And this 5 years course was being conceived by the then director, Professor Madhav Menon.
Menon, sir.
And at that time, it was in a very small place in Bangalore University, in the city of Bangalore, that is called Kempegoda Road.
Correct.
So we occupied a small portion of Bangalore University. Then, after in my presence only, that university was shifted at Nagarbavi, where at today the university does
Correct.
exist.
Yes.
So, as you know, at that time, this 5 years course was taking shape,
Right.
and Professor Madhav Menon and his colleague, he was uh, spreading this awareness to the legal fraternity, that how beneficial these 5 years LLB integrated course is, because before that there was only 3 years course after graduation. But this course and this module of legal education, that was adopted from the European countries.
Right.
And at that time, large number of people from the European university, they used to come to National University, and they used to tell the efficacy and its significance in
True.
the present era, the context. In fact, there was a committee constituted by the Supreme Court of India, where the then Chief Justice of India, Justice A.M. Ahmadi, was chairing this committee. They vehemently advocated that now we should shift our paradigm of legal education and adopt this 5 years LLB integrated course. And you know, today it is now 28 law university almost in every state. There is a one law university.
Yes.
And without, it goes without saying that our students who are product of 5 years course, whether be it a national university product or be it the traditional university like Jamia, Aligarh, BHU, or Allahabad University,
Correct.
all have 5 years course. They have switch
Right.
over, so they are doing very well.
Correct.
The purpose behind is that the judiciary, particularly the Indian jurists, they felt that the courts are not getting the real advocacy, because the courts, the cases has to be interpreted and placed before the bench from the bar. The way the bar presents the case, the bench is bound to deliver the justice accordingly, because the raw material has to come from the bar.
Correct, sir.
And at that time, the standard of the advocates were not so leveled, and so I think you can say important and up to the mark. So it was very difficult, and judiciary was feeling great hindrance in adjudication of justice.
Right.
And you know, the law is a dynamic subject, it is an organic subject. Every moment there is a social change, and when there is a social change, the law has to respond it through its own change, isn't it?
Absolutely.
So whatever the legal education we had in the last decades and the last centuries, that was not sufficient at present context, and the judiciary was under great stress that how to cope it with. So there was a move that the legal education has to be revamped, and accordingly Bar Council of India, in its 2008 amendment and all educational amendments, they have prepared the new syllabus and the curriculum for the BA LLB integrated courses. There are so many courses. In fact, I started, that is the beginning of my journey as a teacher, to start from the very beginning of this inception of the new era of the legal education which came into India. We started, and certainly accordingly in Jamia also. Uh, in the year 1992, I shifted from Bangalore to Jamia Millia Islamia,
Oh,
and there in 2002 we also switch over this 5 years integrated course. Then
correct.
after, in the same year, I had an opportunity. I was invited by East Africa, that is Tanzania, in the University of Zanzibar, to teach law. There I taught law for 3 years, and
All right.
uh, we had a landmark and very historic days in Zanzibar University for 3 years.
So do
In
share your
fact,
experience over there as well.
I tell you, that is, you have really. In fact, Tanzania, that is also governed in the 1963, it was liberated by the Portuguese.
Right.
Before that, there was a colonial government. And you know, wherever these colonial government were established, they established the common law education and common law practice.
Correct.
So the like that, Tanzania also have both kind of law. Basically, their administration and governance is from common law, but they have their own domestic law also, which governs the matrimonial issues and their successions and other things. But
Right.
basically, the Tanzanian government, that is governed by the common law. That's why we used to teach the same law what is there in India. Most of the books and the research material that Tanzanian government have or the universities have, that is the Indian books and the Indian materials. So that's why the Indians are preferred over there,
Correct.
isn't it? So in that connection, I went. So when I went there, I started teaching with the same flavor and the same skill what I got from National Law School. Undoubtedly, the training which I got in 2 years of teaching with Professor late Madhav Menon, that I never get in my whole life. And he's really architect of the new and the modern legal education.
Absolutely.
I confidently I may say, and we are the product of his school of thought, that is the Madhu Menons. And if it, I don't say the others are not relevant, but equally, Professor Madhu Menon, he contributed in his life a lot in the legal education, isn't it? So from there, I started, and I may tell you one of the examples that in Tanzania, the students were very eager to learn the legal education. Even the judges, they used to come sit with us, they used to teach with us. The liberty that we had in Tanzania, the difference which I found, that if I say that my class is at 12 o'clock in the noon, but today I will take 8 o'clock in the evening, nobody can say no.
Mm.
The student will wait till 8 o'clock in the evening, and all their staff will be there supporting his staff to support the teacher, because I have announced the class will be held at 8 o'clock 8 p.m. instead of 12 noon. So that was the eagerness. So one of the landmark events that I had in my mind, one of the grand niece of the president of Zanzibar, she was my student in the class. And I was told by the then vice chancellor that you should teach Muslim law. And in our culture, we cannot say no of any subject. We can
Absolutely.
teach.
Correct.
If we have not taught any time, I can say yes, I can read and teach, because you know the methodology of teaching.
Correct, sir. Absolutely. Well said.
Because we have plethora of legislations, you cannot say that I do not know this law, that law.
Correct.
You know the technique of teaching, you read the law, and then you teach the technique you have. So I started teaching Muslim law. So once I collected some material from Fazi. Fazi is a very authentic book on Muslim law.
Right.
So there is an instance that before making a triple talaq, isn't it? What are the processes?
Correct.
Because you even in the Muslim law, you cannot. This is not encouraged that in a rage, while you are in a anger mood, you announce triple talaq, and then it is, yes, it is prevented. It is not suggested, and it is not encouraged. But that is not the way. It is, that's why it is called talaq biddat.
Absolutely.
So the human being, male, whether male or female, isn't it? The marriage is the union of both the sexes, but
Absolutely.
it is nature that probably the nature of both the sexes or both the persons may tally, may not tally.
Correct.
So for certain days, for certain times after the marriage, it takes time for them.
Right.
And the God has created a kind of affection period by biological attraction, isn't it?
Absolutely.
After that, they become friends,
Correct.
isn't it? And they become contributing in the society, the family, and the increase in the society. So that was, I was explaining that, look, if there is a difference between husband and wife, the first procedure is that the husband should stop talking with the wife and say that this is the my resentment, that
Right.
you should not do, I don't like it. Say for example, if she is not a of good character, isn't it, he must first tell that, look, this is the thing, and I don't want to continue like this. If she does not desist from that, then you keep her bed separate, that I do not like this. This is the another phase, isn't it? If you, even then, if she is not desisting, then you call the parents and the relatives from both the sides
Right.
and try to resolve the issue. These are the called freezing period, cooling period, isn't it? And if it is not there in the process, you have right to punish the wife. You can punish, but there should not be any mark on the body. So
Correct.
the amount of punishment, and you can say corporal punishment, it is not like that, that as a beast and as a cruel person, you, it is a symbolic one, so that you can give some kind of threat that this is the resentment. And then after, another process of divorce comes. Then I was explaining this thing, then that lady, she stood up, the niece of the president, and she said, what is this kind of law, sir, you are teaching? I say, this is not law made by Iqbal Hussain. Here is the book. It is the divine law. Isn't it? I am explaining what has been written there.
Correct.
Isn't it?
Absolutely.
So she resented that this we don't like, and this and that. I say, whether you like or don't like, this is your personal thing. But what is the law? That I have this source. If you want to see, just after the class is over, you can come and see. Okay, the class was over. Then some of the students came to me, sir, don't worry. She is coming from the elitist family. She
Mhm.
does not know the reality of the society. If you go in the rural areas in the Tanzania, the wife does not like the husband unless he keeps on beating the wife. I say, what is this? This is another extreme. Then I said, then what is the rationale behind this? The rationale behind is that Tanzania is a kind of tribal this one society.
Right.
And in tribal society, the women are the weaker sections, and they want to marry with a man who is a strong man, and
Physically.
that strongness is determined by the atrocity upon herself. If she says that if he is not able to beat me, how he is competent to save me from the others, other persons, isn't it? So
Right.
this is a kind of incidence that you cannot observe it and cannot have this kind of experience in the Indian society,
Right.
isn't
Absolutely.
it? And in that context I had, but anyway, so that was the thing. And we had, and even today, those I taught them in yeah, I came back in 2005. That is almost 16 years is now over. But those whom I taught, and they are in a good position there. I met one of my student last year. He is now election commissioner in
Wow. In
Tanzania.
Tanzania.
So he came for a training program in India, and he got my email. He emailed me that he want to meet me. I say yes, you are most welcome. I invited him at my residence. Then he said, "Sir, when you left, I got married, and the first son which the begotten to my wife, I have named my son after your name. So
Fair.
he's Juma Iqbal." Isn't it? So that in my whole life I keep on remembering you. Anybody he asks that, Who is this Iqbal?" Iqbal is not a familiar name in Tanzania. It is Juma or something else. Then he used to explain that Iqbal sir was my teacher from India, and we were so impressed with him that after he left, we wanted to create everybody whenever we meet in our colleagues, we used to discuss about you. So that was one of the things. Now, I think, do you want to
Yes,
do
listen.
another question, or should I move to whatever the questions I was sent in the mail?
I'll just have
Better
ask,
you
just keep
ask the
it as
question.
a normal interaction, sir. The way we are having a chat right now, I think that is what the students would also enjoy.
Yes, that is just to make the student
Absolutely,
enjoy and be familiar with me, isn't
absolutely,
it?
absolutely.
Because
And the
sometimes
wonderful way in which you've narrated the entire list of
yes,
events. I'm sure everyone will be having a
exactly,
jolly ride. Yeah.
exactly.
तो गाइज जो भी देख रहा है यहाँ पे ये वीडियो जल्दी से फटाफट से अपने फ्रेंड्स के साथ जल्दी से शेयर कर लीजिए एज यू हैव समवन विद अमेजिंग ट्रक लोड्स ऑफ एक्सपीरियंस जब नेशनल यूनिवर्सिटी बैंगलोर द फर्स्ट नेशनल यूनिवर्सिटी और द फर्स्ट यूनिवर्सिटी विद 5 year लॉ कोर्स जब वो स्टार्ट हुआ था तब से सर हैज बीन इन द इंडस्ट्री वो वन ऑफ द पायनियर्स हैं टू ब्रिंग द 5 year लॉ हियर इन इंडिया राइट सो वो एक्सपीरियंस सर आज हमारे साथ शेयर कर रहे हैं काफी अमेजिंग स्टोरी बताई इंटरनेशनल एक्सपीरियंस जो था उनका इन द ईयर 2005 तक 2005 तक जो इनका इंटरनेशनल एक्सपीरियंस था वो सब सर ने हमारे साथ शेयर किया तो सर बिफोर वी मूव ऑन सर आई जस्ट हैव अ क्विक क्वेश्चन फॉर यू सर मतलब we know that truckloads of experience you have right now so the university these national universities when they were created they were supposed to have a change the perspective of law in the mind of common public as well how how do you think how far have they come up are they successful in doing the same क्या अभी तक वो अचीव हो चुका है जो करना चाह रहे थे
Have you completed? Because there was a technical.
so should I repeat sir
Better. Yeah,
should I repeat the question
exactly. You please repeat the
all right.
question.
So I was saying ki, the national university when they were created, the idea was to have them autonomous, keep them autonomous, and create a course which is there for 5 years, which should change the perspective of law as a career in the minds of common people. So, do you think with the students now opting for 5 year law school, is it a little different, or the outlook has changed for law as a career?
In fact, Abhinav, you see, uh, we have almost more than I think 2,000 law colleges in India,
Right, sir. Absolutely.
isn't it? and there are 140 universities, and all the universities uh, having the law faculties and the law department. There are only 26 or 27 national law universities. You see, mine is Jamia Millia Islamia is a central university.
Correct.
And we have 9 faculties here in Jamia Millia Islamia. And only last week we have been conferred with A++. That is the highest grade
Absolutely.
in NAC accreditation. Meaning thereby that our educational level has been adjudged as the top level in the country, isn't it? One of the top levels in the country.
Absolutely.
You know how much fees we are charging from the student for law?
Please share, sir. Please share.
It is 10,000 per year.
Wow. 10,000 per year. Many students who are going there at national universities would be, spending that much amount of money each year.
3 lakh. National law university students are paying 3 lakh.
Correct, sir.
Isn't
So
it?
He is absolutely ridiculous.
And you know the number of the aspirants over there? You see the number of the students who are sitting in CLAT in lakhs in numbers. They are the wards of elitist groups in India, be it judges wards, be it executives wards, be it professors ward. So all the elitist group, they want that if his family wants a lawyer, he must be graduated from National Law School.
Correct.
Isn't it?
Absolutely.
And if he does not get admission over there, then only they come to the traditional universities who have the 5 years course. Even the private colleges
Correct.
that I know, none of the private college charge less than 1 lakh rupees per annum.
Absolutely.
Isn't it?
The fees.
Ours is being the central university getting aid from the government. We are charging. So the number of the applicant aspirants every year, that is doubling.
Absolutely.
Isn't it? And to keep the demand of the student, we have to increase the sections.
Correct.
So when we started, we have only 30 numbers of the student intake. Today we have 120 students, 2 sections. So total number we have today 770.
Wow.
Isn't it? And we are increasing the sections on the basis of the demands. But we have a limit. We have limit of building, we have limit of resources, we have limit of financial resources, all sort of thing. So this is the maximum that we can do. Now by doing explaining this thing or giving this example, I am giving the answer to your question that now that was not the situation which we had 50 years ago, that if a person does not get admission in anywhere, let us do law. Isn't it? At least in the end, we can wear the black coat and go to and sit in the court. Isn't it? So that is not the situation today. It has become one of the most competitive.
Absolutely.
Because I am the dean, I have been in the process of the admission and administration in Jamia. I know that after engineering, the next is the law. That is the demand criteria today. So we have lots of competition in this discipline.
Absolutely.
And the reason, if you want, I can explain that what is the reason.
Sir, follow-up question is that only, sir. So,
Sure.
what exactly is the reason? What are the career options that a law student has right now?
Yeah.
Everyone wants a real lucrative job. So, आज की date में, sir, if you
Yeah,
could
yeah,
explain some.
you are correct, and the question is very right, and that is what before I came on the screen, I was thinking that what is the kind of level or parameter on
Right.
the basis of which one can decide his career.
Career, absolutely.
So, to my mind, there are two parameters. The parameter is one is what course is socially relevant and financially significant, isn't it?
Correct.
So, what is socially relevant? That is, after studying, what you can do in the society,
Absolutely, sir. Well said. Bilkul.
isn't it?
Absolutely.
That is the marketability that
Correct.
today is in a 125 crores
Population.
India. The competition is increasing day by day.
True, sir.
So you must have seen in the newspaper, there is a flood of articles that what discipline that you can choose and the counseling and everything. What
Correct.
is the aptitude and what is, and not only inside the country, outside, because a large chunk of our student, they are studying in foreign countries, isn't it?
Right, sir.
So how it is socially relevant and financially
Boundless.
significance.
Absolutely.
So after, because earlier there was a days that people used to study just for knowledge.
Correct.
Today people are studying for your livelihood also, isn't it? It is now commercialized. It is weighed with the amount of salary that you can get. Huh?
Absolutely.
He is a digital engineer. Wow, he can get, he will certainly get 20 lakh per annum, 30 lakh per annum, isn't it? So
Right.
now the degree is weighed with the financial weightage.
Correct.
हमारा बाट जो है आजकल एजुकेशन का, वो मनी है, किस पे कितना हमको मिलता है. So unless there is a financial benefit and social relevance, one cannot choose. So, as I told you earlier, so it was only the last option the people used to give. But today,
Willingness.
today
Absolutely.
it is totally reverse.
Absolutely.
Students are leaving medical. I am telling you, in national school, even here also, I have many examples that the students have left MBBS and joined law
Right.
because they think that their career is better in law rather
Right.
than in medicine, isn't it? I have seen many examples like that. It
Correct.
means it is an evidence that the significance and the relevance of the legal education in India is increasing day by day, and
Right.
the number of the aspirants, the competition in CLAT, both in CLAT and where there is a independent entrance examinations have been kept, the number is increasing day by day in this discipline, the legal
Well said.
education. Now coming to what is the relevant
Option.
areas that the students are being attracted. You see, what is the judiciary and what is the sense of significance and the purpose of the legal education? Since you have not asked this question, I am not going to answer right now because this was one of my sequence to speak. But anyway, I am responding you as per your question.
Right.
You see, uh, after this LPG, liberalization, privatization, globalization in 1991, you know, we agreed to invite the foreign investors to come to India and make an investment so that our economic situation, economic position may increase. GDP, and we are quite successful in that. I give you one
Absolutely.
example. Say, for example, when we invited this move to the foreign companies, foreign corporate sectors, their first query was, what is the method of your adjudication of litigation? So they were given that this is the our legal system that we follow. They said no. We cannot afford to carry on litigation year by year, isn't it? We want a simple method. Of course, if we have a agreement, there may be some difference of opinion, there may be litigation, but we as a business people, we cannot afford to fight in 10 years and 15 years and we carry on this thing. So you have to modify your arbitration, isn't it? So at that time we had Arbitration Act 1940, isn't it? That was only applicable to the domestic arbitration. So in 1996, we revamped, we repealed, and now we have Arbitration and Consideration Act 1996, which includes the foreign arbitration. And today, if you see, most of the Supreme Court judges and High Court judges, after retirement, they are doing practice in arbitration, and they are of course charging lots of money,
Absolutely.
isn't it? So that is one of the thing example that how the law has come, and every company, every corporate sector, they want that good legal expertise should be attached with them who can advise the law, isn't it, or the law of their country,
Correct.
or good arbitrator or good knowledge in the arbitration. Apart from that, the the new science and technology, the development, as told you, the Roscoe Pound said, the law is a tool of social change. Every moment, our society is changing, and particularly in science and technology development, isn't it? Today we have e-commerce. Today we have patent, intellectual property right,
Absolutely, sir. Lots of
isn't
options.
it? So the society is expanding multifariously,
Correct.
and the law has to respond to each and every aspect of the social problem. So you have to develop the legal education, isn't
Absolutely.
it? So today we are not inviting the foreign this one lawyers. We have so many expertise that our lawyers are being invited by the foreign companies,
Correct.
isn't it? Otherwise, you see, only it was in 1984 when this one Bhopal gas tragedy took place. The large number of the advocates from Connecticut, they rushed to Bhopal,
Correct.
isn't it? But today we are so self determined and self confident that we are enough to fight our cases and to see the legal. So these are so some of the areas where we see that the students are doing very well, because in the NAC assessment also we were asked by the NAC people, and it was the requirement that what are the placement
So
areas
please
where
share
the
your
where,
views.
where your students after passing out from the law, they are going, and we have to give the documents that
Right.
our students are now moving into multi-direction,
Hmm.
isn't it? So as I told you that this course, this new legal education, in fact, it was created for litigation purpose. So the students should come and they should practice in the court of law, and they should help the judges in deciding the cases in a proper manner. But by development, by the social change, by the social development, the students are not only going to the court of law, rather they are also joining judiciary. My own student who Bharat Chug, if you are in Delhi, he was the topper of Delhi judiciary in 2013. He
Right.
topped in
We
judiciary.
actually had a conversation here at BYJU'S Exam Prep with him, sir.
Yes, yes. So judiciary they are going. Corporate sectors, in-house councils, isn't it? The students, particularly our female student. Yes, one thing I will tell you, that earlier the women, they were very reluctant to come to this profession, but today there is hoarding. We in our faculty, we have more than 50% students, they are female, and they are going to judiciary, they are going to corporate sectors, and in journalism, isn't it, in civil services. After doing the LLB and law, they feel it is very easy method to enter into. And in the field also, their the law education that is helping them in discharge of their duty.
Absolutely.
So in corporate, they are going academics, because as you know that the requirement of the society, that more and more legal education should be given. So the more and more law colleges are being established, so in the academic field also they are moving. In army, there is a large number chunk of, JAG, Judge Advocate
JAG
General,
also.
isn't
So
it? So
yesterday there's a new notification wherein JAG entry will now be CLAT score based.
with class, yes, yes. So you see the number of the quality and the number of
Absolutely.
applicant, civil servant, there also. So the avenues for the law student, that is developing and increasing day by day. So that's why it have the impact upon the demand also.
Absolutely, sir. Well said, sir. Well said.
Now, yeah.
So, guys, I'm sure all of you would be, really, happy to witness, first-hand experience of sir, who's the dean at Jamia Millia Islamia. He shared with us that, for NAC, जो NAC rating है, उसमें जो है अच्छे स्कोर करने के लिए प्लेसमेंट्स भी बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट क्राइटेरिया होता है, और वहां पे भी जो है सर ने बताया हमें कि जो स्टूडेंट्स हैं उनके काफी अच्छा काम कर रहे हैं. तो गाइस, फील फ्री, एनी क्वेश्चन दैट यू हैव, वी आर ओपनिंग द प्लेटफॉर्म. आपको जो क्वेश्चन पूछना है आप हमसे पूछ लीजिए. आई विल टेक योर क्वेश्चंस हियर एंड आई विल बी कम्युनिकेटिंग टू सर एज वेल, राइट? तो चलिए सर, देयर इज अ क्वेश्चन हियर फ्रॉम स्टूडेंट्स. ऑलराइट, यू गाइस फील फ्री. हाँ, बिल्कुल आप पूछ सकते हैं, बिल्कुल आप पूछ सकते हैं कोई भी क्वेश्चन. ऑलराइट. सो सर, जामिया के एडमिशन को लेकर सवाल कर रहे हैं बच्चे कि सर उसके लिए कौन सा एंट्रेंस एग्जाम हमें देना पड़ेगा, क्या हमें सीयू सीईटी देना पड़ेगा अभी जो नए रूल्स के हिसाब से, या फिर क्या होगा? तो उसके बारे में अगर
You
थोड़ा
see,
बताएं.
in fact, as you know, that it is just this week we have come to know that there will be a combined entrance test for all the central universities. Till now, we are not a part of the CLAT. We used to conduct our own internal entrance examinations. So we have been the part of the examination committee and sort of thing. And on the basis of that, this is as good as CLAT. So there was a entrance test based upon the multiple choice questions. There have been 150 questions, and the students are given 90 minutes, one and a half hours, and a particular date is fixed. Even since the aspirants and the number of the application is so high, that we have to keep the centers out of Delhi also, isn't it, to bring the good students, for example, from Karnataka, from Assam, from Kashmir. Since Jamia is a center university, we want the representation of across the country. So therefore, and to get good students from all over the country and
Right.
representation. So we have been doing, and on the basis of that, we are taking the student, as I told you earlier, that you have two sections in the first semester, that is at the intake. 60 is the this cap, that as per the Bar Council of India rule, we have only 60 student in one class. So we have 60 student for the regular and 60 student for the self finance.
Right.
Self finance is the standard is little bit low, because the fees is 40,000. So on the basis of fees, who do not pay, having the capacity to pay 40,000, they come into the merit, they are admitted into the regular, or if they are little bit low, so they are admitted in the self-finance. So we have in this way 120 seats in as intake in the first semester.
Right. Sir, there's another question here from Fahad Ali. He's asking, sir, how are the placements at Jamia? If you could just throw in some lights, what does a student has to do while they are there in order to secure a good placement?
You see, so far the placement is concerned as a whole, we have a very vibrant placement office in
Right.
Jamia. But this is for the whole university. For example, for the engineers, for the dentistry, for the journalism, isn't it? For other people also. So there is a big office and having the good staff. They are inviting people related to the field of different discipline. For example, engineering also have various sections, steam, mechanical engineering, corporate sectors, and they are interviewing their students, isn't it? And many of them, they have got campus recruitment, isn't it? Like that, they have also, for the law students also, they used to call the corporate sections people. They come here, they want good meritorious law
Students.
practitioners. So they come to the faculty and they select their student, and they do the campus recruitment also. So like that. Apart from that, in our curriculum by the Bar Council of India, in every this year, after the second year, you have a placement curriculum. So we are bound to send them into the judicial offices, judges offices, corporate sections, lawyers chambers, isn't it? Or any government offices where the legal practice is required, isn't it? And we have a state legal aid authority. As you know, that national legal aid authority act we have, and that is mandatory that every state, there is a state level legal aid authority, the district level, taluk level, and they are with the help of the law faculties and the law colleges, they are spreading legal awareness, they are giving the legal aid to the poor people. So this is the way. The moment the student enter into the law faculty, after few months he has started being placed in the, if you see our this one, I think I could have given the explanation and the slides which I can show that with the collaboration with the state legal aid authority, how much work our students have done. Even nukkad natak in the villages, isn't it? Solving their petty matters, lok adalats, isn't it? Up to big lectures of
Right.
the judges. So the moment a person enters,
Absolutely.
sorry,
No problem.
the moment the student enters, he feels like law faculty family. He forgets his own family, isn't it? He loves to live in the faculty for whole day,
Correct.
isn't it? So they feel a very attraction and a very living educational system in the, because the bar council has created in such a way all the curriculums, as I told you, that it took more than 10 years for the judges, for the bar council, for the jurist of this Indian jurist to make such a kind of curriculum so that the student feel involved into it, isn't it? And by doing that, as I know, as I told you earlier, that today law is not only in the legal books and the judges chamber. We take it from the society. What
Absolutely.
is the social problem? Even today, the legal system has taken a paradigm shift, isn't it? Even the judges ask that, have you gone to the society and see how much this is implemented?
Correct.
If you are speaking about the efficacy of a certain law, isn't it? Say, for example, 21 years of the girl's age, isn't it? The parliament has done yesterday. Have they made any socio-legal study in the society? What will be the impact tomorrow if the number of the marriages in the tribal sections that takes place in 15 years of age, 18 years of age, because they don't afford to keep those girls up to 21 years.
Right.
So our students go to the society and see the reality of the society and its gap which is being breached by the law, and tell the court and the judiciary and the judges and the legislatures, isn't it? So these are the research aptitude we are inculcating in the minds of the lawyers, because lawyers are the social engineer. If you have a good lawyer in the society, you will have a very vibrant society.
Absolutely.
And the law-abiding society.
Well,
yes, go ahead, please.
So, Sir Anjali Singh has a question here for us. She said that, sir, which is law? Which law is better? Is BBA LLB better, or is BA LLB better? So, for 5-year integrated course, does the course which is along with the LLB, does it have any bearing to your future opportunities? What is your take on it, sir?
In fact, she has mixed the question. She has started with the question, what is law? But now she has mixed later on that BBLLB or BLLB.
Yeah, that
so
is the
both,
prime question.
Both are the different,
So
isn't it?
Just the BBA LLB and the BCom LLB or the BA LLB.
That's I see. You see, that is what I said, that these are the bifurcations of the degrees, isn't it? That we have made on the basis of the social demand. Our the problem are now multifarious, and the law has to answer each and every problem. It is not only one. For example, a judge has to decide the medical negligence, isn't it? A judge has to decide that uh, 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 a, uh, uh, a, a kind of project of civil engineering, whether there is a corruption, whether there is so in every field of the society, the law has to give the answer. As I have told you that after this globalization and privatization, the business community and the business transactions in the country, particularly the commercial affairs, has increased, isn't it? So the people think that it is very lucrative to move into the business sector. So we want that there should be a specialized legal training in the corporate sectors. That's why they have created a BBA, isn't it? It is in fact commercial law, isn't it? A particular commercial law. Now the BALLB is the course which is a classical degree which gives everything at a one umbrella. It is an umbrella degree. If you want more specialization, then you can. Those who are coming from the commerce and they want to go to the corporate sectors, so they used to prefer BBA, isn't it? We have many courses on medical diploma, medical law, isn't it? Because somebody wants to go to the medical side and he wants to see what is the legal thing which is involved into it, they prefer. Somebody wants labor law, so they want to go to the labor side, isn't it? So that becomes a specialized one. So like on the demand of the society, we keep on increasing the number of courses, and that is the way. But the main course is BALLB.
Absolutely, sir. Well said, sir. बहुत ही मतलब जबरदस्त तरीके से सर ने आंसर किया है इस क्वेश्चन को. He's covered all the nitty-gritties around this, and I'm sure ये क्वेश्चन जिसके भी मन में था वो क्वेश्चन का आंसर जरूर मिल गया होगा. Brilliant, sir. Brilliant, amazing. तो guys, जैसा सर ने बोला actually the most recommended for you guys in a nutshell will be BA LLB. It has no bearing in your future. अगर आपको law at the end of the day you will be a lawyer. तो जैसा कि यहाँ पे अंजलि ने बोला कि सर एमबीए करना है तो क्या मेरे को बीबीए एलएलबी लेनी चाहिए, तो एमबीए के सिलेक्शन के लिए भी आपकी कितनी डाइवर्सिफाइड प्रोफाइल है आपकी, दैट इज एक्चुअली अ वेरी गुड क्राइटेरिया ऑफ सिलेक्शंस. सो अगर आप बीए एलएलबी हैं तो आपके चांसेस पूरे हैं. क्यों सर?
Yes, no doubt. But if you want, it depends upon your own future planning. If you want to go to the corporate sector and you want, for that purpose, you want to do MBA, so BBA LLB is more suitable for you.
Absolutely.
And that will be a specialized one.
Correct.
So that is what career planning today, it is not that olden days that people used to keep on studying and they don't have any purpose of their डिग्री.
तो कुछ हो ही जाएगा.
Isn't कुछ ना कुछ तो हो जाएगा, isn't it? कुछ नहीं तो शादी हो जाएगी अच्छी सी. But the people here, they are studying with a purpose. आपका destination कहाँ है? Accordingly, you have to make your career planning, isn't it? So in every discipline, you have specialized certificates and you have specialized disciplines.
Absolutely. Well said, sir. Well said. Amazing. So this session was absolutely super duper fruitful और मुझे भी इतना कुछ समझ में आया. I actually enjoyed it. मतलब मुझे तो लग रहा था सर मेरे सामने मूवी चल रही है और मुझे ज्ञान मिला ही जा रहा है. It was an absolute amazing experience to witness you firsthand. So guys, I am sure you guys are feeling the same. सर ने काफी कुछ शेयर किया हमारे साथ, अपनी नॉलेज शेयर करी, अपनी विजडम शेयर करी, बताया जामिया के बारे में भी कुछ निटी-ग्रिटीज कुछ बताया, कैसे वहां का प्लेसमेंट सेल है, कैसे सर की जर्नी क्या रही वो भी सर ने हमें बताई और काफी इंस्पायरिंग जर्नी थी हमारे लिए. तो गाइस बिफोर वी एंड द सेशन, प्लीज जल्दी से लाइक का बटन दबा दो फटाफट से एंड मेक श्योर यू शेयर दिस वीडियो विद ऑल योर फ्रेंड्स and everyone who is preparing for any law entrance exam. Sir, what will be your last parting advice to all our students who are watching us?
In fact, let me I want to know whether they are only the law aspirants or the law graduates or the doing law.
The law aspirants. Usually they are law aspirants.
You see, if you are really become very happy or you have liked this lecture and you want to do law, better you start reading newspaper every day.
Absolutely.
Isn't it? In fact, when I was the student, I inculcated this habit, and I may disclose you on this platform that I have press clipping for last 35 years today in my house. So every day, my day starts with the newspaper. Then only I take my tea and start my day. And what is the legal news there in the newspaper? I used to cut it and keep in my record, and then I go further ahead with the investigation. So first you read the newspaper and see what are the legal articles that is there, isn't it? So when you start reading, the first page is the information regarding the whole news, important news, isn't it? And even the court's judgments, some of the high court judgments, some of the Supreme Court judgment, and some of the lower court judgments also. Today even there is a lower court judgment which has also been published, that in the right case, that the Justice Rawat has, the Magistrate Rawat has given a bail to a person who has harbored the most wanted person, that is Farooq Shahrukh someone. And the reason he has given, that he just harbored, but he has accepted his guilt at the very beginning, and today he has his father who is paralyzed and 9% the dependent. So you see, even in a case where he is supposed to, where the public prosecutor keep on demanding that he should be sent behind the bar for 3 years. But the judge says no, because this is the justice.
Right.
And I tell you, there is a very famous maxim in law:
Yes.
justice should not be done, but it must appear to have been done, isn't
Absolutely.
it? So it is not the justice that you have only 3 years in the law Bear Act, that of this kind of offense a person will get 3 years of punishment. That is not true. इसलिए justice demands something else. So why I say that even in the lower courts, you can see the wisdom of the judges. And in administration of justice, there is a judicial activism starting from the lower court up to the Supreme Court. So you will develop your faculty of legal mind. So
Ab-
you can see, you can read the newspaper, you see the legal news, you can see the social survey, isn't it? You just see there are so many criminal. You see how many the women are safe in NCR Delhi. There are so many surveys that is being. So where is the lacking when we have a vibrant police forces? So what is the reason behind that? And everything is being responded through legal legislation and legal activism.
Absolutely. Well said, sir. Well said. So, guys, golden tip from sir. Newspapers, read newspapers. We've been saying this from day one. Now you know why, right? All legal experts like Dr. Eqbal sir himself, right? All of them have said this unanimously. Reading newspaper is not just must for law aspirants, but future lawyers as well. Students who are studying law, even they have to, continuously read newspapers to be aware, and for all the reasons that sir just mentioned, right? So make sure you are developing this reading habit. A golden tip from sir to end things. Yeah. Thank you so much,
Just
sir.
one thing I
Yes.
will add with respect to the newspaper. Our student, though they are very teenagers, but they must have heard that the judiciary, even the Supreme Court or the High Court, they are taking suo moto actions,
Cognizance. Absolutely.
cognizance. It is only from the newspaper informations, isn't
Absolutely.
it?
Even the
So even
NGT now.
yes, so even the judges of the Supreme Court, judges of the High Court, everybody reads the newspaper to
Correct.
see what is happening in the society. So
Absolutely.
for a lawyer, for a good citizen, it is for you also that you read newspaper religiously and very minutely. Thank you very
Absolutely.
much.
Well said, sir. Well said. So thank you so much, sir, on behalf of all the students here. The students have shared their lovely wishes and thanks to you. They
Thank you.
found this session really motivating and real inspiring as well. So thank you so much, sir, for gracing this platform. We look forward to have such sessions in the future as well. Thank you so much for your time, sir. Thank you so much.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank
All
you.
right, guys. Thank you. With this, we are done for the day. We will meet again real soon. Till then, take care. Goodbye. Make sure you do hit the subscribe button. Bye bye.